Hey everyone, I hope you're having a really good day. It is it's Wednesday. So just getting over the hump of the week. I have to be completely transparent and not have the best day. However, kept going, moving forward, making sure that, I was staying positive and trying not to let, all these negative things creep in my mind was pretty challenging today. I'm not going to lie. I just had a lot of moving parts, but I think that that's life. And I think that everyone kind of goes through the exact same thing. So today was a doozy, though. I'm not going to lie. The dog fell down the stairs. I got some news about, the health of one of my family members. There's a few things in business that didn't go the way that I wanted them to go today. And, sometimes you just have to allow yourself to take a deep breath and decompress. And that's also why I wanted to, kind of talk a little bit more about the yoga and the meditation and, ensuring that you are understanding how important that really is for our lives and our mentality and our positive energy and all that other great stuff. So I'm looking forward to, really getting into the deeps of that over the next couple of weeks, because that's what I've committed to myself and I set a goal. And the only other thing I'm going to say today is that anytime you're having a mental battle with yourself or a conversation with yourself, I would probably guarantee that you're not going to win, because there's no one else around to listen, number one. Number two, it's a conversation you can't win, because there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. You're just constantly talking to yourself about certain situations and certain things in your life. And we can never really kind of pinpoint how to get past that or how to conquer it. So I would recommend just not doing it. I know it's easier said than done, and I've said it 100 times before, but your subconscious mind is going to believe exactly what you tell it to. So if you're telling it all the wrong things, all the negative things, then that's exactly what's going to happen. And a lot of the times, if we're stuck in this sort of ongoing cycle of conversations with ourselves, it's so hard to break through from that, especially if you're somebody like myself, where I'm by myself all day. Steve's out working and I'm, on a computer trying to do 125 different things. And, I have a dog, but I don't have children to distract me. I don't, have any other family members that I live with. So sometimes it can become overwhelming. So, just taking a step back for a few minutes and doing some deep breathing exercises, or just kind of distracting your mind from whatever you might be battling, is super important. And I know that we were talking so much about mental health prior to this pandemic, and we're not really talking about it anymore, which I find very odd, especially this time of year. Christmas time is a time of year where, there's a lot going on. Sometimes we overspend. Even this year, it's going to be really hard for us to spend time with our families if you don't already live with them, or if you're not in lockdown. So there's a lot of more moving parts to this time of year than maybe in previous years. And I start to go through all the memories and what that I had in the past, and you have to be grateful for those. And I just tried to kind of pivot my mindset today, which was really hard. I'm not going to lie, shed a few tears, but I'm human. I'm exactly like you. I go through many, many emotions in my day. I'm also Scorpio. So if you know a Scorpio, or if you are a Scorpio, you can understand what I'm talking about. But women in general are very emotional. And that's why, I posted something about the hormones the other day, and it's super important to, not only test it, but it's balancing your hormones is super, super hard. And it's because they're constantly changing with the foods that we're eating, the stresses that we have in our lives during our cycles, all these other things. So I just wanted to, kind of let you know where I was at today and where I'm at now. I mean, it's funny because I have minimal energy at night, and I wanted to challenge myself today. So I decided that I was actually going to do this live at 6 o'clock, because I normally don't have a lot of energy in the evening time. It's normally my downtime. So I just wanted to see if I could do it, because I know some of you actually work out at night, and I think that's incredible that you're at least getting it done and not making any excuses. That's super important for your lifestyle. But, set a challenge for yourself that you don't think that you can accomplish. And I would work really hard at, trying to get that checked off. It doesn't have to be something so small like mine, or maybe it can be, whatever you feel. But if there's something in your life that scares you or that you're not used to, it's good things to switch it up every once in a while. It's kind of the same thing when we're, avoiding a plateau for working out. We want to always switch things up and make sure that we're not so bored, especially now. I mean, it's so hard to get outside. You know how it is with the pandemic. So I would love to hear some of your questions. It's enough of me rambling on. I'm glad there's at least 4 people on here. And that's the other thing. Please start showing up if you say you're going to show up. It's super important, not only for you, but also for me. I like to see that you can hold yourself accountable without having, for someone to drag you along, because that's truly what's going to separate you from everybody else and also get you the results that you deserve. So thank you for showing up, some of you ladies. I have a question from Tara, and she's asking how I balance my negative thinking. And again, it kind of relates to today. I had an off day today. I woke up okay. Yesterday was not that bad. I ended up getting out of the house and going to work with Steve for a little while just because I couldn't handle being inside anymore. And then today, I was just trying to stay positive, and there was a few things that happened, again, in my real estate business where I felt defeated. I have to be honest. And it's funny because I'm also having like multiple different conversations with new people that are thinking about joining the New Year, New You challenge. And it's like pulling teeth to get people to do something about their health. So I'm a little bit frustrated with that because it's also very hard to stand out in this type of industry. Number 2, I balance it because in a way that it's different every time. I have to let you know that because it depends what I'm going through. Sometimes I call my mother. Sometimes I just like hash it out with myself. But again, that's not a conversation you can win. So just be very cautious of what you're doing there. I also force myself to get outside or change my scenery. So today, for instance, like I was sitting at my computer and a few things happened. And I just got so frustrated that I decided to get up and literally do laps around my house. I have like 70 something stairs in my place. So I just started walking up and down the stairs just to get my energy flowing, my blood flowing, blow off some steam. And it kind of works, to be honest. I also had a cup of tea. It was just a way for me to kind of wind down and relax. I did a little bit of breathing exercising as well. And then I just started to regain focus in a different direction. I think that's the beauty about what I do have in my life is there's always an ability for me to shift to a different thing. Like if I don't want to think about renovations, I think about maybe looking at some real estate properties, and then maybe I'm, creating content for our group or whatever the case is. So it's good in that sense to switch it up, especially if you're so focused on something that's extremely negative. It's just important to kind of shut the switch off. And I always look at things too, like, can I do anything about that specific situation right now? No, but is giving up an option? It's not. And that's kind of what I was going through today. It was like, being an entrepreneur is not an easy feat. And I'm sure some of you can relate. And even still, like working for somebody full-time, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever you do is not easy. And everybody goes through these different things. And a lot of the times we just don't talk about it. So I think that would be like my number 1 recommendation. Even if you find somebody in this group that you can talk to, honestly, it helps so much. You get a different point of view. You get it off your chest. You get it off your mind. It might not solve the problem, but at least you're not like so focused on that negative thing. And it's really important to practice your gratitude. I started to look like I was sitting on the couch after doing my laps around my house, and I started to look around my living room, and I felt like I wanted to pick out a few different things that I was grateful for. And it was like my Christmas tree. And then it was the dog, even though she fell down the stairs, she didn't get hurt. So I just started to switch my mindset over to that positivity realm. And I was looking forward for Steve to get home from work. So I was able to switch it. It didn't take very long. And I think that that's something that we have to practice, because a lot of the times, especially in the past, we're so used to dwelling on things. And it brings us down. And then before you know it, it's like hours and hours and hours have passed by and nothing has changed. And you're still in this negative, shitty mindset. And no one can get you out of it because you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's really important to get that trigger and to switch it off, regain focus, get that energy flowing, move around, do something that you maybe weren't doing before, change the scenery, move to a different room, get outside if you can. There's little tips there that hopefully you can utilize, Tara. So great question though, girl. Sorry, I just saw the second part of your question. You said what's going right versus wanting better for yourself. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we're such beings of wanting more. And this is actually something I relate very strongly to weight loss. And I know you're not necessarily talking about that, but it's like, okay, say your goal is to lose 10 pounds, and then you lose the 10 pounds and you get on the scale and you feel really good. And then like 25 minutes passes by, or maybe a day, and then you're like, now what? Like, what's next? we always have to know what's next, what's next, what's next. And it's really hard because we always want to be better. We want to be, we want to look better. We want to feel better. And it's a lot of the times we don't just stop to actually appreciate what we do have. And we're all guilty of it. I'm not perfect. I have many, many situations where I'm always feeling like I could have done better. I should have done more. And I even said this today. I said, well, maybe if I had worked from 6 o'clock to 9 p.m., I would be in a different situation for the last 6 years as an entrepreneur. Is that realistic to say? No, because all of that's in the past. Can I change it and try it in the future? Absolutely. But at the same token, like, you have to kind of prioritize what's most important to you. And for me, definitely it's happiness. Obviously, I want to be healthy no matter what. But at the same token, if I'm not happy I in my life and who I'm with and what I'm surrounding myself with, then truly I feel like I wouldn't be fulfilled in any way, shape, or form. And being healthy has definitely got a major impact on my happiness because it exudes self-confidence. It makes you motivated to do more with your life, and it sets the tone for your lifestyle. Compared to people, that sit on the couch all day and maybe they don't do any workouts and they don't get their body moving and, they eat really poorly. And guess what? Your energy is going to suck. And so is your mindset because you're just so used to being lazy and not in control of your own health and your life. It's all about preventative. It's not about like reacting to when we do get sick. And that's the thing. Like, you never know what's going on inside your body, but in order for you to prevent like stuff from happening in the future, especially as we age, you have to use health as a preventative measure. Eating healthy, nourishing your body the proper way, hydrating. It's a super simple way. I mean, I'm drinking my peppermint tea right now because I just had dinner. But you have to make sure that you're creating that lifestyle that you want. It's not easy, ladies. It's not. And it's not going to get any easier. I think that's also like I don't want to be a bearer of bad news, but we can't expect, I should say, life to get easy. It's not. As we age, our life changes, our bodies change, our hormones change, our relationships change. Obviously, we have to, a lot of us are around the same age, but our parents won't eventually be here. It's just like life is crazy. And this year, more than anything, I think it's taught so many people, what they really value in their life. And for me personally, it's having amazing people around me and being able to give back is changing my life. It is. And I don't want to get emotional. It's just been an emotional day. But without you ladies in this group, I'm not sure, if I could be as happy as I am right now during this pandemic, because I feel you have a voice, I have a voice, and I'm so happy to be able to, coach some of you along this journey because it's crazy. This year has been nothing but negativity and nothing but downward spirals. But honestly, having you all here has been incredible for the past, I think we're on day 50 or day 51. I'm not even sure. Day 50. Like, it's crazy. We have another, 40 days together, and I feel so blessed to have you all here. And I really do hope that you continue this journey with me because I love hearing from you. And I love making a difference in your life and most other people's lives as well, if I can. And that's the thing. We just have to be happy with what we do have, as hard as it is, because we're always wanting more. Like, I would love to be on a beach right now. Of course, I would love to have more money in my bank account. Absolutely. I would love to, maybe eat something that I don't normally eat and not get a stomach ache. Like, we always want stuff that is going to feel better. But those things are sometimes they're temporary. So we just have to make sure, we're focused on the good. Who else has got some question? Hi, Nancy. Hi, Shanna, Anna, Mary Beth. Priscilla has a question. Yes, I have to see more, girl. If you were to do a complete fast for 3 days, should I be working out or does it depend on... No, we're not going to do a fast for 3 days. No, we're not. It's not necessary, girl, and it's not necessary. Okay, if you're intermittent fasting, and I know that you are 4 or 5 times a week, that's plenty. You do not need to do a 3-day fast, okay? I don't recommend it. I mean, honestly, what's going to happen is you'll probably lose a few pounds. It's going to all be water weight. I mean, you're not eating anything. So, to be honest, I would kind of question the why behind that. I have to, ask that. And you don't have to respond in here. You can send me a message directly, but fasting is great. It's just that sometimes, like, I'm not a huge fan of 3-day fasts. I'm not a huge fan of 7-day fasts. I'm not a huge fan of even a day fast. Your body definitely does need some nourishment at some point, especially if you are somebody that's working out. And I don't know where the heck you would get your energy from, girl, if you're fasted for 3 days, which means you've not eaten anything and drank water upon water, coffee, tea, whatever. So you're basically putting, caffeine, which is a drug, inside of your system, and you're hoping that you're going to get some, fake energy from it. Plus, if you do lose some weight, and then you start eating on day 4, guess what's going to happen? You're going to bloat. You're going to have a problem with your digestion. You're going to feel lethargic. You're going to feel sick. And obviously because your insulin will be spiked when we eat, that's what happens anyways. And you might come out of your fast just fine, but honestly, I don't recommend it. I just don't think it's necessary, to be completely honest, unless you're doing something like that for a religious reason. I understand. However, I overly recommend it. Knowing who you are, Priscilla, and knowing how much you work out, girl, it's not necessary. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, it's not a health thing. What is it then, babe? Is it a religious thing? And if it is, then I understand completely. I don't recommend it. However, I understand. If you are going to do some workouts, I would be very, very low impact, use absolutely no weights. I would do stuff more like yoga, stretching, walking, very, very low impact. Okay. And honestly, at least one of those days, maybe on the last day, I don't really recommend at all that you work out. You got to make sure that you are upping your hydration too. So just be very cautious of that. And if you're dizzy and stuff of that nature, please pay attention to that as well. Okay. Understand, Priscilla. Let's connect offline about that, okay? Tara's got another question. What do I think about the soup diet? Oh my God, girl, no! Ladies, diets do not work. They don't work. They're not sustainable. The soup diet is the stupidest thing on the planet. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just so retarded. Like, there's nothing in there that's going to nourish your body. It's water, and then if you're putting protein in there, I don't recommend any type of diet. I really don't. I never have, and I never will. The keto diet, the paleo diet, there's certain benefits to certain diets, but none of them work. They will work for a short period of time. And if you've been around the, health game before, you'll hear yo-yo dieting. Well, guess what that is? It's any diet that you've ever done. You're going to lose weight. As soon as you go off that diet, or as soon as you change one little thing in that diet, you're going to gain it all back. Do not recommend the soup diet at all. And again, I have to question the why. We want to really hone in on the why. You can eat regular food, ladies, and still lose weight. Okay? I think we need to really focus in on the reality of that. We don't need to, do soup diets or shake diets or stuff that's only chicken and rice and only chicken and broccoli, and I can only have white fish and friggin' sweet potato. It's silly. It's so silly. You got to pay attention to your cues. You got to eat the right things. If you are someone that fasts, I know a lot of us do in this group, you just have to make sure you're fasting and doing it properly, hydrating the crap out of yourself, number one, and breaking your fast appropriately. Okay, the soup diet, and any diet for that matter, there's certain elements, for instance, of a ketosis diet, which is basically what you try to almost get into when you're fasting. Okay, it's all about the ketones in your body, and I don't want to go into it because a lot of people have a really hard time getting in ketosis. Okay, which is why, again, keto works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. Plus, for me, to think about consuming high levels of animal fat makes me sick to my stomach. I just can't handle it. Okay, whereas other people really enjoy eating that stuff. Then there's carb backloading, and we can talk about counting macronutrients, and we can count calories. And, if the goal is weight loss, you have to just be cautious of your portion sizes. You have to make sure you're getting enough protein, enough fiber, which is going to come from your vegetables. You can limit carbs, but you're not taking them out altogether, because vegetables are a carb, and so are fruit. Okay? Yes, there's different types of carbs. Obviously, saturated carbs would be things like your pastries and donuts and, deep fried anything. You don't want to be eating that as your carb source. However, if you follow simple rules and just make sure that you're paying attention to those portion sizes, because at the end of the day, weight loss is all about a caloric deficit, absolutely. And even still, if you're somebody that is still carrying some extra weight, you gotta move more. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be rocket science, and that's why I never come on here ever in my life and recommend a diet. There's certain meal plans per se that you can follow. And again, it depends on your goals. And that's why it's really important to focus on that why. Why do I want to do a soup diet? Or why do I want to only drink shakes? It's not the magic pill. It's not the only formula that's going to help you lose weight. It's not, because it's not sustainable. And in my opinion, you're going to get so sick of it so fast that you're probably going to end up overeating because you're not nourishing your body properly. You're in this mindset where I can only have soup, right? So that's not a healthy way to sort of look at food. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, I would recommend that maybe we do a little bit more one-on-one coaching so I can really hone in on your nutrition, because it's super important. I know you work out. I get it. But ladies, please be very, very cautious of doing any type of diet, honestly. And then if you are still thinking about it, you're going against what I'm saying, I respect that, but I would recommend that you speak to your doctor, okay? And yes, I am right about those diets. That's how Priscilla and I met. We met over the keto diet, and I almost, puked. I couldn't believe that she was doing it. But guess what? She was doing it, and she was trying to lose weight for so many years, and she was training really hard. And then she met me, and I told her no more keto, and she had to repair her relationship with carbohydrates. And that's what I mean. Diets are such an unhealthy mindset, and that's why I'm so against them. And I respect and really think that, competing, I'm talking bodybuilders or bikini shows, that's a sport. I've never done one. And the reason I've never done one is because I couldn't get there mentally. I couldn't force myself to only eat white fish and rice for the rest of, for a year, or however long it takes, which is usually a year's time. Because I feel like along the way somewhere, something starts to happen with your mentality around the rest of food. And I would never want to live the rest of my life like that. I don't want to have an unhealthy relationship with food. I want to know that I'm nourishing my body, and I want to know that I'm eating healthy, and I want to know that I've got the energy that my body needs. And that's the thing. Diets are nothing but a selling tactic, in my opinion. It's a strong opinion, even stuff like Weight Watchers. Why does it work? Because you're counting calories. So at the very least, if you're doing something, if you're wanting to try a new meal plan / diet, whatever, eating program, whatever you want to call it, just be more cautious of the calories. Okay? Calories are calories are calories. Obviously, if you're getting calories from vegetables or from fruit, they're going to be a lot better source for you, or from protein. But again, if you're eating too much calories in vegetables or fruit, you're still going to not lose weight, especially if you're not somebody that works out very often, so it's got to be a fine balance. And then not to mention, you got to give your body some time to adjust. That's also the biggest thing with diets. It's such a shock to the system, because you're going from, say, eating 2,000 calories a day, and you're going all the way down to 1,200. What do you think is going to happen? You're probably going to fall off the wagon, and you're going to get really upset. Then you're going to, eat whatever you need to eat. And then you're going to say, okay, I'll start again tomorrow. You might go through that cycle 2-3 more times, or maybe you'll stay the course. And then you start to, not have a lot of energy, or maybe you're not sleeping that well, and your whole metabolism gets kind of thrown out of whack. It's the same thing as someone who overeats, right? When you start to, cut back the calories, obviously super important if you're overweight and trying to lose weight, then you're going to start losing weight. But eventually your body's going to, speed up the metabolism, because now you're maybe feeding it much more fiber and much more healthy calories than you would have before if you are somebody that's overweight. Okay. So the only other, tip I would give you, if you're someone that doesn't really want to count calories, just watch your fat sources. And I'm not talking about healthy fats. I'm not saying fats make you fat. Again, it's calories in, calories out. But just the fats on meats and stuff like that, and whatever your budget can afford, I recommend organic, free range, grass-fed, any type of meat. So just be cautious of that, because a lot of the other stuff, because it's so mass produced, all the animals are pumped with hormones and antibodies and all this other crazy stuff to keep them alive and plump them up and make them larger so they can get more yield and sell more to human consumption. And that's why, I think some of us in this group too, I started to have not a moral issue, but I don't like meat anywhere near as much as I used to. I never have liked red meat. I've never been somebody, or pork. It's not for me. But honestly, even like the chicken and the turkey and sometimes even the fish, I'm just like, ugh. But it's weird. Like, again, that's how you pay attention to those signs, okay? All right, Priscilla's got a complete change of mindset. Yeah, girl. Okay, Debbie's got a question. She says, how many times a week should you work out? Depends on your goals, 100%. Bare bones minimum, if you're a client of mine, it's got to be 4. Honestly, 3 I don't think is enough, especially if you're somebody that wants to lose weight. And if you are someone that wants to lose weight, I'm going to say 5, and that would be minimum. And it's also the length of time. You know, we can sit here and say we got to work out 4 times a week, 5 times a week, but if we're only doing like 10 or 15 minutes and weight loss is our goal, it's not going to do much for you. Okay, the way that we burn calories is by moving more. So if you're doing something like and I recommend absolutely 100%, I recommend weightlifting, but if weight loss is part of your goal, I do recommend you doing some cardio as well, at least 3 times a week. And I would do the cardio at the end of your weightlifting because you want to be more focused on your form, preventing injury. And obviously when you're weightlifting, and I'm doing a video on this week, so please stay tuned to that. Wendy brought up a really good point. We want to make sure that we're warming up properly. A lot of the times in my workouts, yes, we're warming up, but we're not doing a lot of dynamic stretching. So I'm going to make sure that I do a little video tutorial for you all so you can make sure you incorporate that because it's something that, a lot of us don't do. And if I don't do it on camera, I just don't know why I don't. So I'm going to start doing that. But back to your question, Debbie, I'd recommend minimum 4 times a week. And again, the cardio session should come after your weightlifting. And I would recommend at least an hour. Knowing what your goals are, girl, I would say an hour for sure. And if you're new to working out and it's not something that you enjoy doing, then again, bare bones, I would recommend 3 times a week, okay? Until you start to kind of, I don't want to say get addicted to it, but it is an addictive feeling. It feels really good to get your body moving. It feels really good to sweat. It feels really good to release those endorphins. So sometimes we get so obsessed with it. I don't want to say obsessed, but we just love the feeling of it. And I'm definitely there. I can't imagine my life without working out. And my hope is that you get there too, if you're not already there. So yeah, I would recommend for sure an hour, 4 times a week, bare bones minimum 3, but I would like to see it be 4. And then those other 3 days a week, I would recommend doing something, low activity, such as walking outside, getting at least 10,000 steps, going around your house, doing as many stairs as you can, doing laundry, doing chores. Like active rest is super, super important too. It's also a really great way to start getting your mindset feed in too. If you're somebody that does enjoy walking, I'd recommend to use that time to feed your mind with positivity. Whether you're listening to me or you're listening to somebody else, I just think that it's an excellent time to take an opportunity to feed your mind with positive thoughts, okay? Hi, Holly. Okay, Holly's got a question. Walking is not cardio, girl. No, sorry. That's not Holly's question. That's Debbie's. No, it's not, woman. Unfortunately, it's active rest because it's so low impact. I'm not saying that it's bad because walking is super good for you, the soul. Number 1, it's absolutely still exercise. I don't consider it cardio though. Cardiovascular fitness would be like a speed walking, running, something on a cardio bike or an elliptical, which I hate recommending elliptical. You can do ergs, which is the rowing machine. Another form of cardio, if you don't have any of that equipment at home, would be some HIIT training. Just be very careful because it can be very hard on your joints. HIIT training is high intensity interval training, for those of you that don't know, which is basically really fast movements in short period of time. So you're talking like a 40-second, you work as hard as you possibly can, and then you take 20 seconds rest, and then you go again for a series of like 5 sets, different exercises. So you can do jumping jacks, like jump lunges, you can do burpees, you can do push-ups, all those great things to really get the heart rate elevated. So cardiovascular fitness is something that's going to elevate your heart rate, which is warming up all your muscles. It's burning those calories, burning the energy. But again, you can still do weightlifting as a form of cardio. You just take less rest in between your sets and you're constantly like a circuit training, okay? Like similar to those curves that we used to have here in Canada. I think they went bankrupt now, but you go around to all these stations and you have like literally 10 seconds of rest in between each set. It was, you know, it was a good, I guess, formula back then. But anyways, so they're out of business now. Anyway, okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Debbie. Holly's asking how many times you should train legs in a week. I'm assuming that's what you mean, girl. So here's the thing. Our legs are the largest muscles in our body. And also a lot of women, including myself, carry most of their weight in their butt, in their thighs, and in their hamstrings, okay? And also, of course, their hips, because we're meant, of course, for childbearing. And it's just the natural thing where we have more fat stores in that area. So if you're somebody who, you know, really wants to focus in on that area, I would recommend training legs 3 times a week, which can be challenging, okay? Because if you are training legs properly, they should be quite sore at least 1 time a week. And that means that you're lifting heavy enough to actually utilize the muscles appropriately. But also too, you can do things like, it doesn't have to necessarily just be, you know, squatting and deadlifting and lunging and all that stuff. Use your bands, use your ankle weights. I did a video today, which I'll be posting, I guess, tomorrow for you all, where I attached the band to the back of my workout bench and I was just doing like leg lifts. So be creative, especially now. I mean, I know your gym is still open. I'm pretty much so jealous of you, but so things I would recommend 3 times a week, and at least 2 of those should be on the heavier side. And then if you can do like an accent day where you maybe pick another 2 muscle groups, like, I don't know, back and biceps or something like that, and do some supplementary leg workout in the middle. So you can do body squats or hip thrusts, just change it up. It's really important too. I would recommend for sure one of those days you're squatting and deadlifting, absolutely. And again, heavier is good as long as your form is on point and that you've warmed up so you're not risking injury, okay? Hopefully that answers your question. Does anyone else have any other questions? This is awesome, ladies. Okay, we got that question done. Anyone at all? Hi, Dina. Ladies, honestly, I've already felt my mood elevate from the start of this conversation until now. So if you join me a little late, I recommend you go back to the beginning just to listen to a few different pointers that I gave for you today. I just wanted to express my gratitude for each of you today and your ability to show up when you say you're going to show up. It's so nice to see 8 of you this evening, and I realize more and more now that nighttime is probably a lot better for most of you because you do work during the day. And I know a lot of you have children and there's so much going on these days. So I'm going to do my best to do my lives, the live Q&As that is, at night. So you have an opportunity to log on here and ask me questions live. If you haven't joined the new challenge already, please go and do that now. I can't stress it enough. It's $40 cheaper than this one. So it should be definitely affordable to you. Honestly, consistency is key. We will be together 90 days in 40 days from today. That's crazy. If you do another 90, imagine where you can be right now. It's crazy. And honestly, without consistency and the tenacity to keep on going and accountability, and I know a lot of you have seen some really great results already, just keep going. Don't give up. And I can't encourage you enough to just always keep forging forward 100%. Okay? I'll send you the link, Debbie, no problem. And so same to you, Dina. Ladies, honestly, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope you have an awesome night. And of course, this is going to be in the topics section. So if you want to go back and listen to it, you're more than welcome. And we will see you on Saturday, hopefully for the live session. Debbie, you should join us. Why the heck not? Girl, you cannot put your camera on, whatever you're more comfortable with. Step outside of your comfort zone. I encourage you because how you change is how you grow. And honestly, I've changed a lot over this pandemic. And I want you to really, really focus on one positive change that you've made during this pandemic for your life, for your business, for your family, whatever the case is, and really, really hold on to that. I want you to put it in your gratitude journal for this evening. And my biggest thing I'm grateful for you is for all of you in this group. I'm just so grateful to be your coach, and I'm so grateful that you logged on this evening to chat with me. Holly's got another question, so I'll answer one more and then I gotta run. How do I make myself eat when my stress level is super high and I don't have an appetite? Why would you be forcing yourself to eat, babe? Yes, Dina, for sure, girl. You can definitely join the Zoom without being on camera. No problem at all. Yes, Holly, I mean, I wouldn't force yourself. Like, it's probably going to make you sick. I would say maybe have a cup of tea if you're feeling really stressed out. Have a cup of tea. Just do some relaxation exercises. I would do some breathing, maybe try some yoga. Honestly, after I did that session this week with Susie, I was blown away at how better I felt afterwards. And yoga's never been my forte, but I do highly recommend it if you're going through a lot of stressful situations. And especially if you're someone who likes to work out, it's just a different way to get your body moving. So I wouldn't force yourself to eat, babe. Unless it's been like all day that you haven't had something to eat, then it's a little bit of a different story. Some people gain weight when they're in a stressed out state. Some people lose weight. I'm not sure which one that you are. I don't even know what I am because I fluctuate so many different times. Like sometimes if I'm stressed out, I'll gain, and sometimes if I'm stressed out, I'll lose. I just don't overly recommend that you force yourself to eat. And I just would also recommend that you make healthy choices. Like don't use it as an excuse to maybe, and I'm not saying you do this, I'm just saying to have a glass of wine or to do like destructive behavior, if that makes any sense. Okay. And the last thing that you want to do when you're in a stressed out state is do high intensity working out for sure, because your cortisol level is going to skyrocket through the roof, and we don't want that. You don't want that because you're just going to stir a whole bunch of extra fat in your cells, and you're not going to be able to burn off the energy that you need. And even after you're done your workout, you probably feel a little bit worse than you did before. So if you are going to work out and you're already in a stressed out state, just be careful, especially if you haven't had any energy, aka food. And just do something really low impact, okay? And yeah, I wouldn't force yourself to eat. And if you have to, because you're super, you actually are probably hungry, then I would just recommend something really healthy and light. Like I even something like a rice cake, a boiled egg, like a piece of chicken, vegetables, fruit, something that's going to elevate your mood. And don't make it caffeine. Don't make it caffeine because it's going to spike your mood, and then it's going to lower the crap out of your energy. So I wouldn't recommend that, okay? All right, ladies, I got to run. It was a pleasure again to see you all here. We'll see you Saturday for sure, but stay tuned. Love you. Have a good night.